Just finished first service, and we're in week 4 of All In series. And today I talked about Moses. And before we talked about Moses, though, I shared some of my story and how 12 years ago, we as a family, we had one of those all-in moments when God said, I want all the chips at the center of the table. And that was when God called us to be missionaries in Central Europe. And we literally sold everything that we had and made that move. And before we got there, though, we invested so much money, so much time, so much energy into what we were calling Vienna Masters Commission International. God had called us to plant a ministry training program, a Bible school in Vienna. And so we worked so hard at it. And then I just shared how at the end of our time, which we didn't know it was the end, but things started falling apart. And what we had worked so hard on for 6 years totally disintegrated. And the frustration that I felt and I went through a really low, dark time in my life. And then I talked about Moses, and I think I understand a little bit of what Moses may have went through. 40 years he spent in the palace. God was preparing him for so much, and he felt like he was a success there in the palace, and then he tried to help God, and he tried to fulfill what God was calling him to do and deliver the children of Israel by killing a slave taskmaster, and immediately became a felon and a fugitive, and ran into the desert. And for 40 years he spent tending sheep, and I'm sure that he felt like a failure for those 40 years tending sheep. But what he didn't realize is God had already taken him through Palace 101, and now it was Wilderness 101. God had to prepare him to deliver the sheep of Israel, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And I mean, who would have thought that what Moses was going through was God's preparation? And there are times in our lives we feel like we're a failure. We feel like everything we've worked hard at and invested so much into, that it's all for nothing. And in reality, God is using it to develop us. He's using it to prepare us. And he's calling us to be a part of what he's doing, his purpose, his plan. And the thing is, though, is we've got to be willing to throw down our staff. Because in Exodus chapter 4, God said to Moses, he said, "What's in your hand?" And Moses said, "It's a staff." And God said, "Throw it down." And as soon as he threw it down, it became a snake. And so here's what we have to be willing to let go of what's in our hand. That staff represented Moses' identity, his income. It represented his security. And he had to let it go. And the same thing goes for us. We've got to be willing to let go of all those things that are holding us back. And so the question is, what's in your hand? Or maybe a better question is, what are you not willing to let go of? You have to make that decision. You have to decide, what is it? What is it that you're holding on to? What is it that you think you're in control of, but in reality, it's controlling you? If you'll let it go, if you'll throw it down, it becomes a lightning rod for the miraculous. We looked at that in Joshua chapter 3, verse 5 in the beginning of the series. He said, "Consecrate yourselves, for today I'm going to do great things among you." If you're willing to let go, if you're willing to go all in, if you're willing to throw down, God will make that, whatever it is that you give him, a lightning rod for the miraculous. So I want you to spend some time talking about that. What is it in your life? Have that moment of just being transparent. What is it that I'm holding on to? What is it that I'm not willing to let go of? And talk about it and pray together. And I just want to encourage you, throw it down. Throw it down, and God is going to show up in a miraculous way in your life. Amen. God bless you.